All right. Awesome. Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I guess you can still say that, right? I'm glad you're all here. And yeah, let's see how 2026 goes, right? Um, anyway, I just wanted to gather us all at this beginning of the year as soon as I could, and just start up uh doing our Zoom calls again. I'm not sure if they're going to be every month, but they'll definitely be at least every other month. And if you haven't been here before, I do workshops, tutorials, Q&As. We can do just hangouts together. Sometimes I'll have panel discussions and I'll bring friends in. They'll show you their studios. We'll talk about certain topics for artists. So we have a good time around here, and you'll get a lot of free information and free advice. You have access to me if you have questions about things. In the Q&As, especially, I'll coach and do mentoring. So yeah, we have a good time. And today, well, since Valentine's is coming, I thought it'd be fun to do a Valentine's project together. And I came up with this card design. It is lettering, but if you don't do lettering, I think it's a good challenge, and I'm going to show you some shortcuts and ways to look at it, so it might not be so intimidating if it's something you don't do. Um, and it's for everyone, so this is for all levels too. So okay, I'm going to get started. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to see how I set this up. um just beforehand, you may or may not have downloaded the sketch, and the sketch is on a grid. And the grid, we're going to work within a grid today. You don't have to, but it's just a method that might help you work easier and just kind of lay it out. It just be easier for you to lay it out if you use the grid. It's not necessary, okay, but it is a way that I like to work sometimes to kind of help me just get a layout going, right? So I'm gonna share my screen. So in Photoshop here, and I think you see it. I just want to show you the grid so you understand what this is. Um, Basically, I went ahead and hold on, let me turn this on, turn the boxes off. Okay, so you should have this file. Okay, and feel free to unmute yourself since I can't see the chat. If you are having any issues, just call out and let me know. If you don't see something, you can't, you can't follow along. Let me know. All right. Okay, so this is a grid you have. And sometimes what I do is I like to work if I'm making a card or some kind of lettering composition. It doesn't even need to be lettering, really. Grids can be really fun to work in, and this is just one of many ways. I could show you a million others, but this one I thought would be easy for everyone. So if you're not in the US, this is 5 inches by 7 inches, which is our standard card size. And it can also there's also a smaller size, which is like roughly 4 by 6. And you could do either. I'm using the 5 by 7 size. And in the middle, I made this 4 by 6 inch grid. And on the grid, you can kind of draw and in the grid and lay things out however you'd like. I also use this grid also for making patterns. I use it for layout, just all sorts of layouts. So from this case, we're going to kind of look at it into like these 6 sections. Okay, and the first one, I'm going to put words in here. I want to put something here. I want to put something here, 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 and here. And I looked at it like this. I looked at it in 6 sections, and I'm like, how can I make art that makes sense in these 6 sections? So if you would like to just draw 6 boxes, you can do that. That might be easier. Or if you want to use your grid and trace it, or we can actually draw one using a ruler and a pencil. Okay. If you're doing it digitally, then this is just your guide. You can open it in Procreate and use it as a guide and draw on top. Um, and so I just wanted you to see like how I'm thinking this through. So it's basically each one of these sections I'm drawing in. Okay. And then for the artwork and the sketch, you can see here how I put the sketch in each section, right? So B goes in this top one, the hearts, I put them in here. I did an XO and I was like, how can I decorate an XO and make it look Valentine's, right? So I did some little decorative stuff on here. And then mine, I just like, okay, how do you get MINE perfectly fits in each of these two sections at the bottom. And then I wanted to interact them a little bit more. So I turned this into a flower and I linked them together. Okay, so I'd actually love for you to use this as your guide, but you don't have to. I also want you to do your own thing too. So don't feel like you have to do the lettering the way I did, do the flourishes and the decorative stuff the way I did. I want you to make it your own if you feel comfortable doing that. Okay. If you're been doing lettering or even just art for a while and you have your own ideas, go for it. Go for it. This is I'm going to be doing it using my sketch, but I'd love for you to make it your own. Make it your own colors, change the lettering style, add your own flourishes, your own colors, everything. Okay, so I kind of want you to do your own thing on this. And that's why I left it open for you to work in any medium you work in because everybody does different stuff. So you don't necessarily need to be doing what I'm doing. Okay. And then I went ahead and just colored it in to just rough. It's kind of a rough color, but I think it looks cute. And I just use a really simple color palette. And so on the outside is the border. And you can see in the inside is what I just designated to be the where the words and go. And then on the outside is your border. And let me get that back up. Yeah, so you can see here how I did it. Okay. And so make any border you'd like to. You want to put hearts all the way around, different colored hearts. It can be anything, it doesn't have to be hearts. So however you see this for your art and to fit in your style. All right. And so this is kind of like I guess my loose digital version if you want to make your own, but this is for the people who are working digitally. You can see how I use the sketch to just to color it in and make my own designs and decorative elements to it. And just make your border however you want to make your border too. Okay, so that's that. So now if we're working by hand, I'm going to switch over to working by hand now. I'm not sure if you have a light table or not, but these are amazing. So what these are, I got this seriously for $20 on Amazon, and this has tape on it, but they're super thin. They work with USB-C, and you just plug it in. And hold on, I'm gonna make sure the camera is locked. Oh, make sure you're muted. Okay, let me make sure the camera is locked. I think the camera's locked now. Okay. And these are great. And so if you ever like draw something and you want to trace it, this is the easiest way to do it. So for instance, I have this and I want to trace on, oops, let me get this bigger. I want to trace it on my paper. I want to trace the grid on my paper. You can see, I can see right through it. I can trace right on it. I can tape everything down and work that way. And these are really great. And so these light tables are great if you have one. I just wanted to give you a little show of these, and this is how you can work with them. So say you have a sketch and you want to get it onto your painted surface, then you use a light table for that. And I also use tracing paper on here. I can do sketches and ideas through the grid that way. So it's a really fun way to work. I'm going to shut it off. So what I want you to do is I want you to if you haven't done it beforehand, is to get your grid onto your painted surface. And on your painted surface, you can, if you don't want to like trace it on, it's fine. You could also just go ahead and make your 5x7 with your 4x6 grid. So this is actually 5x7 paper because I have a 5x7 pad. So it actually works out really well. If you got the cards or anything else, or however you're doing it, you can even just do this if you're not doing this very seriously right now and you just want to follow along and just kind of maybe do a second version of it later. You can just do a rough one now. If you feel like, yeah, you don't quite know where the center is, or you just want it, because I don't actually, but this is, well, this is going to help me. So there's several ways you can do it. You can just free form it and go in and make your marks and do a 4 by 6 grid. And so I want to make sure you guys have time for this. All right. So if you want to just go ahead and free form it, you can go ahead and put in mark for one. See this 1, 2, 3, like 6 inches down. So you mark one. So basically we mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd mark the seventh mark so you can make your lines. So go ahead and make a 4 by 6 grid. If you haven't done it already, you can do that. If you want to actually use this, you can trace it. And there's a couple of ways, and I'm sorry, I know this part is really technical. You can literally take this and this and put it into a window, and you could see it through the window, and you could tape them together, and you could just make the marks and trace it, and then get it back down here and make the lines. So the window works as a light box as well. So that's a really good way to cheat it. Another thing you can do is you can add graphite to the back of this. And I don't know if you've ever done that before. So basically what I will do is I will shade, I'll just do this for the outer box. Pretty heavy. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm adding graphite or pencil, all and dark pencil around the outer box. And what I'm going to do, and you can do the inner one too, but I'm just showing you this is how it works. Then I'm basically going to get some kind of like a, you need to get like a sharp pencil, ballpoint pen. Let's see, I usually have a pen. And then, let's see, how this to fit. Well, oh, because this is 5 by 7. Whoops. Let me use a different piece of paper. Then you can see here, then what you do is where the graphite is, you're going to trace with that sharp pen, and you're transferring that graphite onto your painted surface. So you can see here, you can see the mark that I made from this. So this is another way you can get it. So I would take your pencil and just do the whole back of it, come to the front. And if you want, you can just add the points in and then use your ruler if you want straighter lines. I don't want you to do this really dark because you're going to paint over it. So remember, just do this as light as you can. All right. So if you want to do it this way, I can keep going with this. I'm just going to make marks because I want us to get started. So now you don't, again, those are your options. You can just free it and just make your own, just use your pencil and ruler and just go ahead and make a grid. It could be the 6 boxes. That would be easy too. That would be fine. And then, or you could do this if you want to transfer it over. Okay. So I'm not going to line this up with sand, but actually I can. um, oops. All right. This is a light table, by the way, if you want to know, and I can send you guys the link to it, but you can find these online everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm using a tiny piece of paper. It's better if you have a bigger piece of paper. You don't have to do what I'm doing. All right, I'm trying to line this up to the edge. All right, it's right about there. And what I'm going to do is, for sake of time, I'm going to just do the 6 boxes. And I think that should be plenty for everybody. But if you feel comfortable, go ahead and, just however you need to get the 6 boxes on the page, do that. You can do the window, put it up to the window. You could just do it with your pencil and ruler, or you could do it like this. Okay, I'm going to tape it down so it doesn't shift. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to use the sharper, more, pointy, so I can get that on there. Now I'm doing the 5 by 7 outside first because I want that border to show. This is on the edge, so I just really need to do the edge. Let me leave, and then you could see it's here. The line is here. Can you also put a locked computer screen? The paper. Oh, you can also put it on a locked computer screen. Oh yeah, that's a really good idea. So Karen suggested that you just need a backlight. So whatever that looks like, you could do it on your iPad probably too, right? You just trace it over the light of the iPad lightly. Um, yeah, there's a lot of ways to do tracing. There's a lot. You just need a backlight. So it's the window. It could be one of these. It could be your computer screen. Like she said, but the computer screen is a little scary because you don't want to press on it, right? So, but maybe you hold it away from the screen and then just make your marks and then put it down so you know how to use the ruler and where to put it. Um, all right. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and trace. Oops, let's use this again. I'm just going to do the 6 boxes. You can do all the little ones if you want, if you think you're going to need them for your design. So press a little harder. So you just need to make sure that you are pressing hard enough and you had enough graphite on the back to transfer it. If you don't see it transferring, you probably didn't put enough pencil on the back. So I would just rub more on there to make sure. And I'm not using a light table because I want you to see. And then if you smudge it, don't worry about it. It's pencil. Oops, it's pencil. Ah, man, I just moved it. It's pencil, so it shouldn't be too bad. I think I got it right back in place here. And I just moved it. It looks good though. All right, I'm gonna leave it. Let's keep going. Oops, that was my bad. I forgot to shut my notifications off. Hopefully it's not making noises. All right, here we go. And then let's make this last one. That looks good. And then for me, I just want to get that light, those light grid lines on there. And I'm going to make the 6 boxes, not all the little ones. Let me know in the chat if you're having any issues, if you need any help, if you have any questions, or if you lost. All right, I could see mine. They're really faint. Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on. You got about 30 minutes. Okay, so you probably can't see it on screen, but I can. There are very, 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 very faint lines on here. Okay, and those lines should they're just visible enough so I can see what I'm doing. And if I need to go back over them again, I could just put a slightly heavier line in there, just very lightly. But I can see the marks. So this is this one, this is this one. Okay. And then light enough because the mediums that I'm working with, I might not be able to erase it as easily if I paint. So I want to make sure. Now, something I'm noticing right now is this is not in the center. I think when I shifted it, mine is misaligned. So I'm going to just make sure that it's centered more. Yeah, okay. Okay, so once you got your lines done, your 6 boxes, we're going to move on. And let me get my 2. There we go. I just want to make sure my center is in the center. I think that's probably one of the most important things. So it looks centered, right? Okay. All right, that's good. I'll erase it a little bit more. Okay. All right, I see my grid. Now, You can probably barely see it, but it's on there. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and paint. I'm going to paint using my light table just because oh, we can take it away. Might be easier to see my painting. Okay. All righty. All right. How are we doing? Checking in with everybody in the chat. I know you're working. Could you stop for a second and let me know? Give me thumbs up or unmute yourself. I just want to make sure we're moving on. Hearts, great. We're moving on to the next. Oh, good. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. All right, I got the thumbs up from everyone. Okay, so I got my marks. I got my border. I got mine is off centered. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna go with it. It's because it is. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, it just is. It's a way I didn't line it up properly. So my border down here is fatter than the border at the top. Totally fine. There's no rules to this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just start paint a drawing. Now, if you want, if you had your light table scenario, then you could have traced this right on. If you are using your, obviously using your iPad, you can trace it if you want to trace it. I want you to freehand this. And that's where the grid comes in handy. So if you do the middle parts of the grid, then you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add those because you will know where to put the center of the B. You'll know where to put the center of the E, right? So those are really helpful. I'm just going to go ahead and I wasn't doing it, but I changed my mind just because I think it will be helpful for you. Okay, let's do this really quickly. Okay, oops. All right, so I'm going to add these center lines, some of these center lines, and it's really just so you know where to put everything goes. Okay. So, all right. So you got your grids, you got your lines. I'm assuming you did it all. And now we're going to put the word be in. Draw this however you want to. Okay. I don't want you to feel like you have to do this. Was literally a sketch. This is a sketch for me to know where to put things. And that's why I didn't make it so precious and perfect because I want you to do your own thing. Okay. So in this case, if you don't even have to and I also this is optional. This whole part is optional. I just want you to make sure you have the words be mine on here. Or if you want to write something else, right? You feel free. Like again, this is just I want you to make your own card your way. But if you need, need help or you want to follow along, go ahead and you can do it exactly how I did it. So for the word be is going in this first section here, okay? And that middle part is, and if you had put the middle line in as well, middle line, then you're going to know where the B and the E go. So it was really helpful to have that grid. So you can see here the B is in the first part, and then the E is in the second part. And the middle part of the E is right in the middle, and the middle part of the B hits that middle line. If you want to do your own funky lettering, it doesn't have to be like that. You can literally make your B, your B can drop lower and your E can come down here too. So there's no rules, right? This is just so you know where how to center things. And this is so you know you'll have the right spacing and everything. Okay. I wouldn't get too close to this edge because if you're going to put a border here, just remember that border might come into that. So leave a little space here, don't come super close. Leave a little bit of like a leave a little bit of space here. Okay. I don't want to get too technical, but just don't come too close to the edge when you are doing your words. Okay. So again, your E could be like that. Your E could be right in the middle. It could be up here. It could be a funky E. This is how you do lettering, right? They're shapes. They're basically letters that become shapes and treated as art, not really as letters at this point. You're using the letters because you're making words, but then you're treating them as art, if that makes sense. Okay. So, oh, thank you. Thanks, Karen. Okay. So go ahead and make your B. And I want you to trace it in this because you're going to paint it. Unless you feel ready to paint, start painting. Just paint it straight in if you're, want to go for it. I'm just going to do a trace. So I want to make sure. And I'm just going to do the B. as a bee. Okay. And then make sure you're not coming too close. And I wouldn't come all the way down to the edge, the bottom here either. So stay kind of within the center of each one of these sections. Okay. And don't, unless you want the edges to touch, but no, if your E touches this point, then it might come really close to whatever you're going to be drawing in the next thing. So just make sure you have a little bit of safety, a little bit of room in between. Doesn't have to be floating directly in the middle, but you know what I mean? Just don't get too tight to the edge. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my E. And you know what? You can always change this later. I kind of like the idea of making my E a little different. And then maybe my B. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to change my original drawing a little bit because go ahead and follow the original drawing. But just because I want to just do something a little different, you've already seen what that looks like. And here's the final again, just so you see how I did it. And I use this kind of ribbon style. And if you open the Pinterest, which I was going to open, I apologize, I didn't open that. We can do that when we get to the decorative part. And we can look for some ideas there. And if you already have ideas and already looked at the Pinterest board or you have your own, then yeah, now's the time to start drawing those and thinking that through. I'm going to move on to the next section since we're running low on time. And I might not be able to finish coloring this with you, which I really want to, but I'll do a quickie version of it. And then I'd love to see you guys' version. I'd love to see what you do. So tag me on social media. I'm Net Designs on social media. And it's also all of my links and stuff are in the email. So send me an email. I'd love to see it. And let me know if I could share it because I'd love to share it on my stories. So I'm going to go ahead and make this heart. That's in the two hearts that are in the next one. Now you could put the little next heart in this quadrant right here. So you can see it's kind of just offset in that quadrant. So if you need to use the guide to help you with the layout, you could see that this is floating in the middle of all four, the big one, and the little one is in this bottom fourth, okay? And it kind of comes through, yeah. So it comes over a little bit. And this one kind of comes down closer to the end, and that's okay. It's come closer to the edge of the grid because this isn't on the edge of the grid. So there's space here. And then you can see the arrow. So I just want to add that arrow in. And then the arrow will be about here. So if you have other ideas for hearts or other things you want to put in, if you don't want to do a heart, maybe you could do a bow and arrow, you could do a cupid, you could draw a character, like however you make your art. I really want you to make this your own if you feel comfortable doing that. And there was a little drop shadow on it. Okay, my pencil is really heavy, so I'm gonna try not to do that. Okay, I'm moving on to the next one. Number 3, and this third one here is the X of the XO. You can draw the X the way I did, or if you want to do your own X. An easy way to start if you're not sure how to make it the fat X is just to make that X and just make sure it hits that middle line and it's even, pretty even. Okay. And then from here, you can go ahead and just kind of outline it like this. And that's how I did it. You can go edge to edge of the grid if you want to come up high, but you'll be coming up kind of high. So then hit that middle mark, then come back down, go to the side, go back up to the middle, come hit that middle mark and bring it down. Okay. So this middle mark is hit on the sides, but here I didn't do it this way. But if you want to make it like yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. And then you have this inside line because you could see I decorated it on the inside too. So you can even leave that there. And then the circles are a little hard to draw. If you have something that you can draw, trace out, like draw a circle around, that's helpful. I do that sometimes when I want a more accurate circle. For the sake of this, I think I just did a wonky circle, and it's wonky, so wonky's good. So this one has two circles. There's an inner circle and an outer circle. So keep that in mind if you're following along. So you will need two circles plus the scallop on the outside. So leave enough room for that. If you want to start with the scallop on the outside, that might be a smart way to go. That way you make sure you have enough room. And this one, you could come kind of close to the grid on the inside, not so much on here. And I would leave, depending on where your heart's landed, make sure you leave a little bit of room. Okay. So everything's not crammed on top of each other. So I'm going to go and make the scallop first. And it's super wonky. It was a little easier to do because I had a circle to look at. Okay, that's good. And then from here, I'm going to make that the first of the two circles. So I want this to be a little closer to the scallop. This one's gonna be really wonky. It's gonna basically look like a flower, right? And then I want the middle part to be not too small because I want to put words in it. And I think also this is the fun part. Like you can put any words you want. You want to put somebody's name. That would be a fun place to put it. If you want to put another sentiment in there, like I put love you, love ya, or if you have a funny, inside joke, or if you're giving this to somebody, that could be a really fun place to use that space as a fun sentiment. Okay. And now you can kind of clean up your scallops and make it look not so wonky, I guess. When I paint, I'll probably make it better. Everybody's good? Yeah, you guys following along all right? Okay. And then, great. And then, okay, I'm going to move on. And now I'm going to, MI fits in here, NE fits in here. So I try to pick words that have just a short amount of letters that would fit in the grid. So this is another way you use your grid, is to space things out. Whatever, if this was Valentine's, whatever the two center letters in the, Valentines. So it's actually even. So it's 10. So that these two letters in the middle are going to have to span the center, and then make sure that if you want to get it even, and then the rest of it, make sure the V and the S is on the end, right? So that's kind of how you would plan that, and know that those two center letters go in the middle, and then you got to squeeze the others in. That would be a really long word. That's why I didn't pick Valentine's, but you could do Valentines. You could have done the whole thing and put like be mine in a fun, I don't know, maybe one inside one of the letters. You could see how you could use the grid to really plan your words out if you want to do a grid style design. Okay. And then mine fits great. So make your M. So just draw your M. Try not to come too close to the edge like I just did. The center of the M, you can have it go all the way down to the bottom like that, or you could have it hit the line here. So you could bring it all the way down, or you could do it however lettering is up to you. This is again, you make it fun. You make fun shapes that are letters, really. That's kind of why I look at it. They're really just shapes at this point. So the M can also be, if you want to do an M like that, you can do an M like this, like I was showing you. You could do an M. You can do, let's see, what other M's are there in the world? Yeah, any kind of M you want. If it can be lowercase too. So, if you want to M, however you want to do your M's. Now I'm choosing to do all uppercase on this. I want this to, and then the I, you could also do, and what I love about I's and O's and D's, things that have like open shapes that you can dot an I with anything. So I'm dotting the I in this case with a heart. You don't have to even use a heart. You can use whatever you want. You could do an uppercase I and just call it a day, if you don't want to do that. But like I love O's because you can write in that negative space. You could put anything in the negative space. So with the I, you can use this part to dress up. Even if you have a D, you could use that negative space in the middle. So like O's and D's are good. Even the B's, if you want to put something in these holes here, you could always change the color or do something different in that negative space. So these are just some little fun ways that you can embellish yours more and yeah, do more to it. You could even like here, I even have this box around it. If you even wanted to like put a border around this, and color and put a different color in the negative side. Maybe these are have a different color behind them. Okay. So this has a color behind it that's different than this one. Again, you could put pattern behind this. That is another way to make this really cool. Or again, or you could color the negative spots in, right? So many things you can do. It doesn't even have to have an XO. You could change this to be something else. The grid is your friend. Make the grid your friend and have fun with this. Oh, you have to go. No problem. Thanks. See you on the replay. Okay, so in the eye, you could come up right to the middle line, and then you can add your heart up here. And if you want to make it fat, then I just kind of use that as my guide. And I go trace over it, and I make it the width that I need to make it. So I could trace, so I put that letter in, you could see, I put the M in, and then I'm just kind of fattening it up on the outside and making the outside border. This is really, there's going to be a big space here. I just realized that. So make sure you use, so if you leave a big gap here to the edge of the grid like I didn't plan that well. You can cheat it, and now your end is going to have to come over a little bit more. Yeah, and it could be wonky. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? So N is going to come over here. And then I'm going to make sure I have enough. Now my N is going to connect to the flower. So maybe in this case, since the N got moved over, the flower stem, yeah, is a little different. Okay, and then there's my N. And then E, and the E was kind of, I mean, the I was fat. So now maybe my E. And because I did that, hold on, I want this a little taller. Yeah, it's taller. And okay, here's another lettering choice. I chose to put the center of the E, I'm not going to use technical terms, below that middle line. Okay. So because I did that, I want to do that again down here. So it doesn't go through the middle line, it drops below the middle line. Just to kind of keep it consistent a little bit. You don't have to do that, but that's just kind of like a graphic design choice that I'm making. This could be shorter. And you can make all, this all the same length. You can make it shorter in the middle. This is how you make letters your friend. Okay. I noticed my M is real. Okay. So everything I did is super off-centered. This happens. I've been doing this a long time and I still didn't plan this right. So that's okay. Even if you find that, there's so many fun ways to make this mistake purposeful. I can add an exclamation point. I can also just move this whole thing over a little bit more if I want to, but for sake of time, I'm just going to nudge it over so it's not too close to the edge. Okay, because this is the edge. So I just want to make sure it's not too close. And then, yeah, I have a little bit of space here. So I could add a skinny little exclamation point that just, there we go. And then I just cheated it and you would never have known, right? So there's my sketch. So now I'm all ready to paint. Wonky can be cute and takes away the need to be perfectly exactly. And this is not supposed to be the perfect drawing, right? Now at this point, if you want to erase your grid lines a little bit, if they're running through the letters, you think they might show up. If you're watercoloring, you might really see that. You can erase it at the end, but just if you don't need them, then this is a good time to leave your outer border on there because you got to write you're going to make the border around it. But I want you to go ahead and if you feel like they're too dark or anything's too dark, it's a good time to go in and do that. Adjust anything you need to adjust. I'm going to finish my B. And I don't know, I'm getting a little more decorative today with this. I might put serifs on this just to make it more, yeah, that's kind of fun. So what I'm doing, I'm adding those little serifs, those little points to the end, just because I don't know, just felt like it. Now the other one I made just kind of I guess it's like a little ribbon style, but do whatever you want. Just wanted to change this one up a little bit. Okay. And then, all right. So there we go. And then I'll add in the love you words later, all the decorative bits and bobs that go on top. And that happens during the painting process. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of do a quickie paint job on this, but I want, since I've already kind of completed it before, this is like a cooking show, so this is the end result here. But you can see how this is made. Hopefully you can see how it's made now, how I plan this out, how I use the grid to put all the words and letters in, and how there are different ways that you could write letters. You can add your own flourishes and you can add your own elements. They don't have to be hearts, right? You can interact this and make this a flower. You don't have to. You can just keep it simple and make a shape and decorate however you want. So this is the fun part. Use these letters as shapes. Okay, so you drew the B, but now I went in and made it fatter. I'm adding, oh, there's an airplane. Sorry. It's really loud. But yeah, use the grid if you need it to kind of help you lay things out more, and it gets things a little bit more centered and aligned. I also feel I really did draw this really crooked, didn't I? Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. Okay, so I can see where I went wrong here a little bit. Yeah, painting live, drawing live can be a little nerve-wracking. All right, there you go. So there you go. So that's how that is going to come together. Again, feel free to play with those negative, like you can dot your eyes with a heart or use whatever you want. You can put your own words in here. You can put patterns behind each section. That would be really cool. Or dots here, stripes here, lines here. Make it more tonal though. Make sure you can still read the words that are going on top. So I'm going to switch over to the Pinterest board. We're going to talk about it very quickly, and then we can come back, finish painting this in really fast. And yeah, just you keep making it your own. I know it's been about an hour now, so I don't want to go over too much more. I want you to look through the ideas that are on there. If there's anything that catches your eye, if there's any ideas, color schemes, flourishes, decorative elements, could even be subject matter. Maybe you like the way the hearts or the letters are done, or like the leaves and the flowers. There's birds on a lot of these. There's chocolates inside the hearts. You could make those, the little mini heart, you can make that chocolate, a box of chocolates. That might be really cute. There's champagne glasses and strawberries. Um, yeah, there's so many things. You could put little strawberries on here. You could decorate the border with chocolate covered strawberries. That's an idea. So yeah, so go ahead and think about ways that you can make this your own and make it fun. There's a lot of ideas in this board. I pinned so many things. I love drawing inside the shapes. So you could add flowers inside the X, inside the hearts, in the negative spaces of the B, inside the love you could put something really fun in there. It could be a pattern, it could be decorative, it could be floral, it could have more words. Again, we can put patterns and color behind each one of these sections. One of the, behind the BE, or the whole top the whole middle, and the whole bottom could have three different colors. So that's another way to do it. So think about how you can use the grid again to embellish this design. I want to see what you guys do. If you finish this, please send me an email with your final one or tag me on social media if you post it, or just send it, DM it to me. I got to see what y'all do because this is really fun. The possibilities are endless with this one. So think about ways you can, like, now when you're going to color it and embellish it, do fun things with the letters. Do you add shadows to the letters? Do you put some kind of interesting type treatment to the letters? How are you going to do this? So the board right now can kind of inform your where you go next. If you hadn't looked at it before, this is a good time to do it. Okay. All right, let's go back to um here. All right, so I'm just gonna, for sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of block in some watercolor paint. I have lots of paint here with me. This is my gouache, travel gouache kit. This is a lot of the colors I use the most. Tend to use a lot of teals and pinks and yellows and peaches, so that's kind of what's in here. I also have this kit that I love, this Japanese line that I love. There's kind of like milky, almost gouache-like watercolor. It's really beautiful. And then there's this inexpensive kit that I put in the email, and I love this kit. It's actually really good. So if you just want something simple to, and nothing too fussy, your paint's too fussy, that's this is a simple kit works. And I like that all the colors are here, so I don't have to mix too much. And there's so many fun like Valentine's colors within here, and that's why I wanted you to get this one if you did get it. So for sake of time, I'm just gonna go ahead and um paint in some of these colors. And now also, if you're not sure what color to put where, this is also a good time. You can kind of block it out too. So if you have the iPad and you're doing the iPad, block out the color first. Like, oh, I want this letter to be these colors, and you can make adjustments on a layer really fast and just do it rough. And then you can go in and do it for real. With paint, it's a little harder. Sometimes if you do have the iPad, like I do, I might just take my sketch in the iPad and assign the colors. And then I can shortcut it so much faster with the paint. If not, then you just go for it, right? Like you just go for it, and that what you put down is what you put down. If you use acrylic, you can paint over acrylic. Sometimes gouache, sometimes you can paint over it. Watercolor, it's not always the easiest to paint over. So you do have to kind of, when you when you put it down, that's it. That's what you're doing. So I used a lot of greens and pinks for this one. The digital one I showed you before, I used gold, two kinds of pinks, and a creamy yellow. I only used a few colors on that. So the tighter your color palette, I think, could be really elegant and nice. So if you want to keep those colors softer, then yeah, that'll be great. So I'm gonna go ahead for the next 15 minutes. I don't want to make this too long. I'm just gonna paint it in. You can follow along with me. I don't want to make this, and then go ahead, and I want you to finish it on your own time. I had some very heavy pencil lines on mine, so I'm gonna see them. But and then the last thing is, I forgot to mention before I finish, is that you can embellish these if you're doing this by hand. Embellish this however you like. I don't know if you could see the gold on here. I don't know if you could see it that much, but there is gold on here. There's gold pen that I used, and I added a lot of gold accents. So I always think that just like pluses up your painting so much more. So if you have gold paint, metallic paint, it could be gold, silver, bronze, whatever colors you have. It would be a really nice accent on here. You can add that on the end. Also, these pens are the best. So I love these Pentel pens, these gel pens, and all this white I did with, that's a white gel pen that added that highlight on there. And I go at the top, I added the white dots in, these white lines. You could also use gouache or any kind of like calligrapher's white lead proof ink. Those seem to work really well if you're painting over something that's more opaque. But these pens were good, really good. And they add tiny little details too that you can't really, unless you have a small paintbrush, you can't really get in there. So think about that. Gel pens are great. Any gel pen really works really well with acrylic, with watercolored pencils or colored pencils, um, and watercolor. So you can paint and gouache, you can paint and intermingle all of those things. So if you want to add some details, that's a good way to go. If you have metallic markers in general are really fun too. Brush markers, you can get some really clean lines if you use brush markers and draw on here. So I'm just going to keep going. But I love to see what you all end up doing. You don't have to plan it out too much. I mean, you could draw this three different ways, right? I'm doing it a couple of different ways. So, oh, good. Some of you all are still here with me. Okay. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I know you know, it's a school night. Yeah, and I'm gonna jump around. Sometimes I just like I don't always know where the color is going. I like to stick with that one color and I'll use it somewhere else, like where I think it should go. Um, I have different colors for the hearts. Be mine. Okay, I think I'll put it here. And here. All right. How are you all doing? Everybody good? Everybody's good. All right. I'm so happy you guys are still here with me. All right. All right, we got mhm. Okay. And then I think I just want a little bit more. Everybody's quiet, so I'm taking that as you're all working. I think the center here. All right, sorry, so quiet. I'm not talking. Um, I just realized I haven't said a thing. So hopefully you guys are doing well. And I'm just gonna keep blocking this in. And if you're following me, and what I'm doing, I'm using the darkest red in certain places. Okay. And at this point, I'm just kind of balancing out where I want the color to go. So I'm using this like pinky red. I don't want them to be too next to each other, you know? So trying to find, there's a lot of planes today. Trying to find areas that make sense for the darker colors. And then, so I'm going to be using a couple different pinks and a couple different reds. Use a lighter. I think, do I want to put blue in here? Some kind of blue, teal, green color might be nice. Not too grassy, not too blue. Maybe something in the middle. Might be too dark. Let's go blue. Now, if I add a blue, you can see I don't have that many places to put it. So, um, don't know if that would be smart at this point. Maybe if I just go ahead and use some kind of like a yellow, orangey, gold color. Yeah, I got one of those. Okay, let's do that. I don't want it too. Oh, that's nice. There we go. So I just want something fun. I want to keep this light. All right. Yeah, just something lighter. And I can use that yellow in other places. Um, okay. So I'm just gonna finish blocking this out. I can see people are leaving because I get it. It's getting late. Go ahead and yeah, again, and finish on your own. Hopefully this doesn't, this might be a 2 hour project. If you're doing it digitally, you could definitely do this faster, depending on how much detail you put in. Paint wise, yeah, this might take a couple of hours to get finished. Okay. And let's see. And then I'm going to use this color here. Okay. You can see And then I'm not being too precious about how I'm laying down the paint because I am going to use the markers and go over it with like some colored pencil details and markers later. So I can show you right now kind of what that looks like. I'm going to put one more pink in here, something on the lighter side. Um, let's see if it'll let me mix these two kind of light. It's gonna be light enough. Okay, let's see what this color looks like. I don't love this color, but that's all right. You can see I have conflicting pinks. Some are cool and some are warm. So I probably should have planned that out a little bit more, but that's okay. It didn't look that bad. And then this heart. And then I have this leaf, which I'll probably do in the other color. And then I'm just leaving a area right there so I can add the pencil in. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight here or shadow here, actually. Okay. And right here. So on the original, I think I did it the opposite here, 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 here. I switched it over to the other side, which means the light is coming from a different area. So that's fine. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, good. And then what I would do at this point is, let me just add this detail in. Just want to color everything in and then you could see what I'm going to do. I do want to add, what color would that be? Go back to my other pink. Let's see. I'm going to add, now I could leave, I actually like the negative O here because it really looks more like an O now. I think before it didn't. It looked like a flower with a word in it, and then you had to like kind of see that it was an O once you put it together. But I like that this is just a blatant O X O now. So I'm probably just gonna do a little line in the middle and call it a day. So let's see, let me go back to the other paint. Nope, I'm going to use the brush. This is the perfect time to use these guys. Okay, so this is the gold marker, a gold gel pen, excuse me. You can also use gold paint. Let's see, I have this watercolor kit that I have a lot of metallic paint in here too. So I don't know if you can't really tell from this, but these are like different coppery colors, and there's a bunch, and that's a gold right here. So if you have gold paints, gold markers, gold brush markers, gel pens, they work really well with this. So what I would probably do is I'm going to go ahead and add that gold line. Of course, I used it last time it dried out, but okay, not a good example. It dried out. Do I have another one? Hold on. More than one. Ah, I think I dried the sucker out. So, okay. Anyway, imagine that's a gold thing. It worked. I swear it was working. Okay, let me get this yellow color. I'll go ahead and use the yellow color. But imagine this is gold, the gold pen. I would go in with the gold. I think I have another one floating around. I apologize. I thought that was working. Um, Add that in here. And then I would find other places to add the gold, like why aren't you working? Sometimes these things are fickle though. If you do draw over wet surfaces, it can dry it out, and then you're gonna have to like keep working it out until it comes back. Like it will come back, but it might take There we go. It's starting to come through again. Come on. Yeah, so that happens with them because they aren't water soluble, right? They're just gel pens. So you do have to kind of warm it up. It's, and they get stuck. And there's a few different brands, and some of them have bigger tips and nibs, which are you can get a wider, fatter, more painterly like surface. Get it more painterly like on your surface. Um, I also have these. These are kind of like Posca pens, and this is a gold one. Yeah, we'll use this one. So, for instance, if I want to add a highlight to this, I'll add, this isn't as shiny as the other ones are, though. This is flatter. But if I want to add highlight or a shadow, these are good for that. I can go in and add so much detail now because I'm using a pen. Um, I wanted the painterly quality of the paint, but now I want the pen to really like, help with the embellishment of everything on here. So this pen is going to do that. Um, so I'll go in and like add all these highlighty or not highlight shadows into the drawing. And I can also clean up my wonky paint lines too. I kind of draw over them and it helps you just, yeah, do that. So if you did make something look a little funky, this will make it look really nice and crispy. So use your pens. They'll be your friend. I don't know if you could see. I just added a little bit of a shadow. Um, you can also use them. I'm trying to think like what's a good place to put it right now. So on the original, I use them as well. I put them like the white and the gold is actually the pens. I did use a gold paint. Let me see which gold paint did I use. I believe I used, oh yeah, I did. I have a gold paint somewhere. I'll grab it. Ah, here we go. Okay, sorry, I forgot I had this. So this is that same kit, and it didn't come with this kit. You can actually buy these individually and put them in. They have other little boxes that you can make 8 or 6. And so I just bought this individually. And it's a really beautiful gold paint. Any gold paint will work, honestly. You can calligrapher's ink looks beautiful too. In this case, I did use this gold paint. That's what I did. And I did use this pens. And this is a nice touch. So it has a really beautiful shimmer and it's very bright and vivid. Some golds can be brassier, greener, darker gold. This is a really bright yellow gold. I don't know if you can see that on there, but it's probably not. But it's has a nice like gold touch to it. So if I want to go in here, I can add that gold here. Um, I can add gold over any of the yellow that I have. I can paint right over it. And now it shimmers. So I want you to think about ways that you can use different mediums. Like this is a fun time to experiment if you want to like come up with a new look for or just do some this like fun card just for you or for someone. Um, make art for yourself or just to experiment with, or if you want to give this away. This is a time where you can try new materials out without pressure, right? So all the yellow that I have on here, I'm just going over it with this gold, and now this gold is really singing. It's super shiny on here. Probably again, you probably can't see it too much on camera, but it is, trust me. So now I have this like really shimmery, pretty gold color. Um, Not quite sure where else I'm going to add it yet. I kind of like where it is. It might actually be a nice highlight or actually faux shadow edge on here. Yeah, just gonna dress this up a little bit more. So I'm just kind of thinking it through as I'm painting. Um, Sometimes I don't always know what I'm gonna do. If you want a planner, then yeah, get on the iPad, plan your colors out, or what, or just plan them out ahead of time, how many you want to use and which ones you want to use. And then you can always use a Pinterest board to find color schemes, or just go on Pinterest in general and find some colors that you like. Um, it's if you don't not sure about color, I think you can find color all over, really. And then, oops. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with this. I'm just gonna add a little bit of gold here and there, just kind of make it fun and sparkle. Colored pencils are great. You want to finish it up. And then what I need you to do next is if you want to color the negative space, like this inner border, you can add dots, lines, just a solid if you want to paint in between and add some kind, if you don't want white behind it. Then here's your, once you get everything on here, then at the very end, go ahead and add that color behind it. Or if you just want to paint the border and leave that white, you can do that now and then start adding your little decorative elements to the border. So here you could see I painted this like peachy color, pinky peach color in the negative space here. And then I went ahead and then I added the border decorative border on and just finished it up. Okay. So this is the part where you play. I want to leave you with that. You can see where mine is going. It's very different than the other one. Not very, but it's different than the other one color wise. And I'm going to keep working on this. I'm actually not going to finish this workshop because we'll be sitting here for another hour. So I want you to, yeah, I see everybody needs to leave. So go ahead. It's been an hour and a half. I would love for you to finish yours. I'm going to finish mine. I'm going to post it. And please tag me and let me know. Tag me and let me know what you end up doing. Let me see if I can make this the host. No, I can't. Okay. Some reason I can't get back. So if you see me in the little window up top, I'm talking to you up here. Let me know what you do and go ahead and please, please, please send over anything that you'd love to share with me. Okay. And I want you to keep painting, finish it up, add your fun border. You can add hearts, paint your squiggles on the side. That's how I did it. But you can just add like tick marks. You can add like, you can whatever, triangles, little arrows. You can put arrows all the way around. That would be kind of fun. Like one big arrow or two or three. You can do flowers and vines. You can do a ribbon. It could be anything you want, or it could just be just like an abstract decorative border, right? So if you want to paint behind the letters, go for it. If you want to do three different colors behind, if you want to do different colors behind each section, that would be fun. Go for it, okay? And do your border as well and add all your little finishing touches. And again, oh, I forgot to show you, colored pencils or watercolor pencils are fun too. So you can, just go over them with pencils. You can add shading in with them. Let me grab a red one. Like if I want to shade this a little and make this a little darker and just kind of fade into like the watercolor a little bit more. This is a nice touch. If I want to add, just a little crisper color, deeper color in here, or you can add a different color completely on top with the pencils. If you want like a dark outline, you can use a darker pencil. Pencils are your friend too, and you can also erase them and blend them in a little bit better. Have fun with this. Okay. So enjoy. I want you to yeah, make it your own, do your thing, and tag me and let me know what you got and where you ended up. I will love to see it. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. You too. You too. Bye.